Ahora sí.
Sí, pero todavía no estamos live. Yo les aviso.
Okay, okay.
Now we're live, you guys. We're gonna wait for everyone to join. A little second. I think I've lost you guys. Or do you listen to me? Do you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yes,
You
we
were
do.
you were still for a second, so I was worried. But welcome everybody to our first webinar of this Big Nine application process here in Startup Chile. My name is Camila Sanchez. I'm PR manager in Startup Chile, and with me today are two experts on all things application process. We have Daniela Encina, she's process coordinator, and Sebastián Arias, he's acceleration director here at Startup Chile. How are you guys?
Hello, Cami. I'm good.
Me
Awesome.
too. I'm great.
Great. Thank you. Now everyone's joining in. We're having highs from the chat. Thank you for everyone for telling us, for joining us, and just wondering why you should apply to Startup Chile. We'll have this webinar where we will tell you all things about our program, our application process, and then we'll have some time to answer all of your questions, which I'm sure you have. So please, in the chat, you can start leaving your questions, but remember that we will answer them by the end of this presentation. So if you want, you can start telling us where you're from, where you're writing us from, and then we'll be talking with you in the chat. And now I leave you, Seba and Dani, for your presentation. Take it away.
Okay, thank you, Cami. Welcome to all the entrepreneurs that are with us today. As Cami mentioned before, my name is Sebastián Arias. I am the acceleration director here at Startup Chile. And basically, today we're going to talk about the first public accelerator in the world and how we can support the development of your business here in our country. So basically, if you are a foreign entrepreneur, we're going to explain how we can support to you to initiate your business here. And if you are a local one, we're going to explain to you how we can boost your experience as an entrepreneur. And Startup Chile is really cool because, as I mentioned before, we are the first public accelerator in the world. So basically, this is a public policy that started in 2010. And 14 years later, we're still alive. So we are doing a great job here in Chile to support startups. And basically, the startups we support are scalable, obviously, innovative. So you solve a relevant problem, obviously, tech-based and impactful. So that means we're not going just to select the trend app or a viral business, but a startup that really wants to create value, to impact here the country, the region, and of course, the rest of the world too. An important characteristic of Startup Chile is we are open to different industries and technologies. So we're going to select startups from education, healthcare, biotech, climate change, or even startups that are developing really cool technologies like obviously artificial intelligence, blockchain, and so on. And the same with the countries we support. So we attract entrepreneurs from different countries. Actually, our community is conformed by 85 countries, or over 85 countries. And the numbers of our portfolio is massive too. You know, we have been supporting more than 3,000 companies since 2010, and over 6,000 entrepreneurs have been participating in our initiatives too. Now, I will talk about our programs. So our programs are called BIG, and those are the sort of stepping stones in your entrepreneurial journey. So we'll start with the Build one. The second acceleration program is called Ignite, and the third one is Growth. And now I'm going to dive into those programs too. So basically, in the Build program, we support startups that have a concept, a validated concept, or a validated idea. You know, if you know the problem you're going to solve, obviously you will have an advantage in the application process. And we're going to give you a grant of 15 million Chilean pesos to develop your startup here with us. The second one is Ignite. And Ignite is all over product market fit. So we're going to push you to start getting revenue, or to increase the revenue if you already have some. And we're going to provide to you a grant of 30 million Chilean pesos. And the last but not least program we have is the Growth one. And Growth is all about scaling sales and internationalization. So we're going to provide to you a platform to get some insights about how to get in new countries, how to expand your business, and how you to keep your talent inside your company, and so on. And we're going to provide to you a grant of 75 million Chilean pesos. An important aspect of our support is, so we provide the majority of the grants, of the funding, and each team has to contribute to in terms of the amount of money in the total grants we support to you. So in the case of Build, we are going to give you the 90% of the total of the project. In the case of Ignite, the 80%, and finally, in the case of Growth, 50%. Going deeper in the Build program, so this is our kind of free acceleration program for early stage startups. And basically, as I mentioned before, this program is all about validation. So we are going to push you to validate and understand the nature of your clients, the problem you need to solve, or they need to solve, instead of developing just the solution or the technology. So we're going to push you to do those activities instead of developing your technology. So we offer a 4-month program, and obviously you must have the commitment to stay here in Chile for the 4 months of the execution of the program too. We select two generations per year, and the equity-free funding, I already mentioned it. So this is important because we're not going to take any piece of your company. So this is an equity-free grant we are providing to you guys. And if you perform really nice, so if during the program you break a leg, basically, you will have the possibility to get a position in the next cohort of the Ignite program. What about Ignite? So here we support the startups that already have a minimum viable product. And we do not mean by that, by the actual product. So we're going to select the startups that can demonstrate learning, you know. So if you have run some experiments, if you have run some experiments with your clients and you have learned from those experiments, you obviously will have some advantage in terms of the application process. And here we're going from a functional product or an MVP or a prototype. And the main objective of this program is to reach product market fit. We offer to you a 4-month program and a 6 months execution period of time. And your commitment is to stay here the 6 months of the execution. The equity-free funding is 13 million Chilean pesos, as I mentioned before. And if you have a good performance during the program, you could have an extension of 20 million Chilean pesos extra. What about growth? So as I mentioned before, growth is all about expansion, you know, scaling sales, getting new countries, hiring new people, growing your business, and obviously being involved in a massive community of peers. So we select the startups in the expansion stage. The extension of the program is 8 months, and the commitment from your side is to stay here for 1 year, and which is the execution period of time. And the equity-free funding is 75 million Chilean pesos. This is a summary of the requirement, the key requirements we have in the Build, Ignite, and Growth programs. If you apply as a natural person or a legal entity, you can apply as both type of persons in the Build and Ignite, and in Growth too. So I'm not going to talk about this slide. So you have the image, and you can check it out afterwards. So because the video will be on YouTube forever, basically. Okay, and Danny is going to explain to you guys our gender initiative called Female Founder Factor.
Okay, thank you, Seba. So if you're having any kind of questions, please leave them in the chat so we can answer them once we finish this presentation. So regarding the female founder factor, we know that throughout history, we have a gap here with the female founder factor. So please, Seba, if you can go on with the slides. For that, we have our program, which is actually female focused, which is the Female Founder Factor. And we do this throughout all of our program, which is the Build, Ignite, and Growth, and throughout a lot of areas regarding the acceleration program, or, for example, the amount that you have to present to Corfo. So, how do we do this with the female founder factor? If you can go ahead with the next slide, please. Seba, there you go. We know that women are the key factor in businesses. That's why we promote female entrepreneurship transversely across all of our programs. And how do we do this is regarding the next that we are going to show you, which is actually, for example, the first and the key thing that you can see, for example, in material is actually in the amounts. We give you the same amounts that we give a male founder. As you can see here, the amounts are the same, which is 15 million, 30 million, and 75 million Chilean pesos. But the amount that actually changes is the amount that you will have to present to Corfo, okay? So for the Build program, you will have to present a 10%. For the Ignite program, you will have to present the same 10%. For example, if the male founder will have to present 20%. And for the Growth program, you will have to present 40%, and the male founder will have to present a 50%, okay? So that's the first step that we take into kind of getting into this gap. And next, we the second thing that we do is actually in the Build program, we have at least the 50% of the selected startups will be led by female entrepreneurships, okay? And we do this along all of our, as long as Big have been going through, okay? So next, we are committed to reducing the historical gender gap. And how do we do this? Actually, is the whole program of what we have to offer as Startup Chile, which is our community, the acceleration program, the talent, the ecosystem, and the media. So how do we do this? For example, in some examples, if you can go on with the slides. For example, in our community, we provide opportunities for our female founders to network and build relationships throughout special events that we share experiences and collaborate. This is regarding our partnerships. For example, we have these instances and events with our partners, some others, for example, public entities and all of that. We can show and we go through this female founder factor with the talent. We believe in the importance of role models. And through our gender balanced academies, we pass on knowledge and experience from diverse female representatives. And in the acceleration program, we actually match those startups of our portfolio led by women with female mentors. And actually, a lot of them are actually alumni, so they will give you the knowledge that they have been through in the program. And in our ecosystem, once a year, we hold an event called Female Circle that you actually can see in our feed. For example, in our Instagram, we actually had that last month, and it was great, where leaders and female representatives meet to talk about innovation and the ecosystem. And in our media, we actually have the representation of our female founder factors, and that's why we use our media channels to visibilize strong females entrepreneurs who can inspire future generations. We do this in the mass media, okay, in the formats of for example, in the papers. We do this in our Instagram, in our homepage, and all of that, okay? So next, please. What do we do actually as Startup Chile? We talked about the female founder factor on Startup Chile, but what is actually Startup Chile, and what do we have to offer regarding our program, and why are we here? Why do we want you to be here? Okay, so first of all, we have our resources, okay? We are, as Sebastian said, we are equity-free founding, okay? We won't ask you for any kind of amount of your company, for example. And we offer you a free co-work space on which you can go with your team, actually, and work there. We can meet, we can have our office hours there, no worries about that. And it's free for you and your team. Okay, Second, we have the exclusive benefits with our perks and supporting partners. We have credits with a third-party platforms for operational directions, business management, and legal supports, among another. Okay. Second of all, we have the acceleration program, okay? We have the mentoring activities, we have peer-to-peer sessions, we have the academies throughout all of the acceleration program, we have office hours with experts and actually with the same staff if you have any kind of questions, and we have the pitch training, which is actually, it's a huge kind of value of our what do we have to offer, because in the first month or so, you have the first pitch training, then you have the second, and we can see how much our startups have grown, how much they have kind of increased their sales, how much they have sales, how much they have grown throughout the program and with our help. So that's very it's very important for us, our pitch trainings, because that actually kind of sets you and kind of gets you ready for what's outside, okay? So, and third, we have the connections, we have the corporate network, the network of investors, we have a government institution. We mind you that we are a public accelerator, so we have all of the relationships with them, and we have lots of universities on which we are kind of getting into conversations with them to help you and help them to get you in that area. So if you want to see that in numbers, we have more than 200 voluntary mentors, which actually, as I said before, a lot of them are alumni, more than 100 corporate and government partners. Remind you that we are a public entity. That's a huge value from us. We have more than 100 worldwide partners. We have more than 6,000 entrepreneurs from all over the world, and we have more than 100 investors in VC networks. So in the fourth area, we have the soft landing in Chile. I know that this webinar is in English, so most of you are foreign entrepreneurs, and this kind of we can guide you through this. First of all, we offer you to sponsorship your 2-year temporary residency. Okay, that's a visa that you can get here to Chile and actually work, have a for example, have any kind of live as a Chilean citizen. That's more so. We give you full assistance throughout all the process. As soon as you get selected to Startup Chile, you have 2 months to get here, okay? And you get full assistance on that. Then you have the opportunity to open a Chilean bank account to actually have all of the money that you are going to be given of the funds, and you can actually totally use this bank account as a Chilean. And then you get a support from our alumni, and actually we kind of match you with a same nationality alumni or the same the kind of area. And actually our the landing body is a huge thing that we have here, and I know that the entrepreneurships actually kind of takes a lot of good stuff in there with the landing bodies. Okay, so yes, and to finish with what do we have to offer?
Danny,
Yeah.
do you think that we could briefly mention the requirement to get a visa if you're a foreign entrepreneur?
Yes, of course. Thank you, Seva. Actually, which is very, very important. You will have to have your passport with at least 48 months validity. Okay, so you'll have to have 2 years with your passport. Then you will have to have your apostille criminal record, okay? This document is the one that actually takes more time, more than anything, okay? So if you're really serious into getting here to Startup Chile, as soon as you get, for example, your document sent, or for example, if you go through the next stage of the application process, you will have to start with the apostille record. Otherwise, you won't be able to get here to Chile. Okay, so that's very, very important. And why do I know that? Is because I am the one in charge of that process. So thank you, Seba. But yes, please, the apostille criminal record, you must have that before, for example, getting selected to, it's what we want to say is that you have to have that in order to get to Chile. And as soon as you have that, it's better for you, okay? All things will go smoothly.
Yeah, basically, my recommendation should be if you get selected to the interview stage, we're going to have during this application process, you should be getting into account the things that Danny has said. Okay, so you have to move forward in terms of at least knowing how getting those documents ready. Yeah.
Yes, thank you, Seba. So keep that in mind if you're applying. So last of all, but it's a huge thing here in Startup Chile, our community, okay? As you can see, we have more than 3,000 startups that have been through the start of Startup Chile. We have more than 6,000 entrepreneurs from all over the world, and we have communications of the opportunities of our network of entrepreneurs, and we have events and occasions for networking and building relationships. Remind you that we have our co-work and everything happens at our co-work. So a lot of great conversations, great networking happens there, okay? If you're going to get here, please make use of that co-work, because our community it's pretty huge in there.
Okay, thank you, Danny. So apparently Startup Chile is really cool, you know? What do you think, Cami? What do you think about the things we have told so far?
It's so cool. Like if I was an entrepreneur, I would definitely apply, you guys. I would come to
Yes.
Chile. I mean, perfect place. So, but
Yeah,
I'm wondering more about why should I come to Chile? You should convince me right now.
yes. So we're going to talk about a little bit about our country and why you should be thinking about starting your business in Chile, or at least getting to the country and to establish the business here as a headquarters of your Latin American operations. So imagine you are a startup from Europe and you want to be in Latin America. So you have to know that Chile has been ranked as the third best country in Americas for business competitiveness, which is really cool. Also, Chile is an excellent lab. So again, if you are a European startup, you can taste the waters of Latin America here in Chile. Why? Because we are leaders in digital connectivity. Our internet connection is really cool compared to the region. Digital services are all over the country. Obviously, we have a lot of work to do, but in terms of the region, we are really advanced. Our public policies strongly support entrepreneurship. This is one, Startup Chile is one of the public policies we have. But if you establish your company here in the country, you can get access to a diversity of different subsidies and opportunities for you. Obviously, we have multiple global commercial agreements. And as I mentioned before, this country should be a the best maybe soft landing experience in Latin America, or to start a business here in the region. And to finish this first part of the webinar, we're going to talk about some success stories from Startup Chile. This is Bifidice, led by Anastasia Gutkevich. Basically, this is a biotech company, and the solution they have developed is an ice cream. But this ice cream has some probiotics that support your guts, basically. Lab4U is a digital company that helps students at different schools to in the learning process of chemistry, biology, mathematics, and so on, using the goods or the assets that mobile cell phones already have. The founder of this company is Komal Dadlani, and we are really proud of having her among our founders. Third one, one of the unicorns, we have the Nut company. This is a plant-based company that produces food, basically, milk, cheese, meat, steak, mayonnaise, ketchup, and so on, but using just plants, you know. So they have an algorithm called Giuseppe, which helps them to create this terrific food. Fourth case, Will World. Basically, Alvaro Silverstein is helping people with disability to get access to tourism. So basically, on that picture, he is in Machu Picchu enjoying a trip that maybe in the past was totally impossible for him. And due to the development of Will the World, he made it. Lidring Co is another food tech. Priyanka is from India, and she established her company here in Chile, in a region near to Santiago. She basically is not operating the business in the main city of the country, but in a different region. And if you are from Chile, or if you are visiting Chile, please use these services or buy those products. For example, the Lidring Co ice creams are available in Jumbo, one of the main supermarkets here in Santiago. Bifidice, you can buy their products online, I think. Notco are everywhere, basically. Yes, and to finish this presentation, the timeline of our application process. So the applications are already live since the 7th of November, and the application process will be closed by November 29th. Okay, so you have to be aware of that. And please do not send the form in the last 5 minutes, because the application platform will be super overcrowded of people, you know. So maybe the application will be sort of lagged, you know. So don't miss the opportunity to send the application in advance. The results will be announced at the end of January, and we are going to start the program in the middle of March. If you are selected into Big 9, we're going to obviously send you the information, or all the information you need to start your journey with us at Startup Chile. Cami, the mic is yours.
Thank you so much, Seba, and thank you, Dani, for that presentation. It was very clear, and it also answered a lot of the questions that we were getting in the chat. For example, this one of the next steps. And about someone was asking what date was the program was going to begin. We don't know yet, but everything will be timely announced when you get into Startup Chile, okay? But we still have some questions that I'm going to be reading to you right now. There are a few questions about getting a part-time job, for example. Like, can I get a part-time job if I still go to every mandatory session and meeting, etc.? Dani, can you please answer that question for us?
Okay, so the program is based on our terms and conditions. So please, before applying, actually, see all of our webinars if you have the time, and then read our terms and conditions, because that thing, our terms and conditions, actually kind of it's rock written, okay? So nothing can be changed. In our terms and conditions, you have to have, it states that you have to have 100% dedication to our program, okay? So I know that regarding that, you may have lots of questions, but our terms and conditions actually can gives you the for example, you can have a salary, okay? That's important. You will not be able to have, for example, you will have to have the 100% dedication to the program, but you can have a salary, okay? For the Build and Ignite program, you can have a salary of 1 million Chilean pesos as a natural person, and each month, monthly, for the execution of the program. And for the growth program, you can see that with your BizDev. But yes, you will have to have 100% dedication, and you can have yourself a salary, okay? So yes, that's important, because I know sometimes you kind of, why do I have the 100% dedication if I don't have a salary? Well, here you can have a salary, okay?
Yeah, and just to complement the answer of Dani, so you have to meet that requirement when you are developing the program with us, when you're running the program. If you apply and you have a part-time job, that's fair enough. But if you got selected, you have to be fully commitment to the development of the program. You have to be full-time during the execution of the program.
Perfect. Now, Seba, I have a question for you about what is like the base level that we need to apply to build. For example, if I've made here Vicente says I've done interviews, surveys, a small pilot marketing campaign. What is like enough for me to be able to apply to the build program?
Yeah, for the build program, you can have a first concept or idea, but that's not enough. As the entrepreneur mentioned, if it's better if you have some interviews, some information regarding the problem, but not in general terms. For example, if you want to solve a problem, I don't know, regarding the healthcare area, so a bad description could be, so we're going to solve the, I don't know, the cancer in the world. A good description or a good understanding of the problem is, for example, when patients go to chemotherapy, so they have a lot of issues with this and this and that, you know, so we need to understand that you have gone through the problem and you got some relevant insights of it. Same if you have conducted some surveys or if you have explored the trends of an industry. So that's better than just having a conceptual framework of your idea. That's my answer.
Perfect. Thank you, Seba. Danny, here someone asks, if I haven't incorporated my company yet and I'm applying as a natural person, do I need to apply with the name of my company or my own name?
Okay, so that is important. Actually, you can see our past webinars, the webinar 2, or you can wait for the next webinar in which we will let you and we will kind of guide you on how to apply. But yes, if you haven't, this is very important. It depends if you are a natural person, Chilean natural person, or you are a foreign natural person. Okay, the only kind of persons that we actually work with is Chilean natural person, foreign natural person, and legal person Chilean. Okay, we do not work with foreign companies. Okay, so if you have established or do you want to establish a company which is foreign, you can go ahead and do so. But if you're foreign and are a natural person, you will have to apply as a natural person here, a foreign natural person. But if you're a natural person, Chilean, and you have already a company, that's a kind of different topic. Okay, so if you are foreign and you want to establish a company there, no issue in that. You can apply as a natural person, don't worry. Okay, but if you have a company here in Chile which actually develops the solution that you are applying with, you'll have to apply with that company. Okay, so that's kind of it depends, but I will recommend you to look into our past webinars or hold on to our kind of start looking into the questions that we have in our application form, and then wait for the next webinar, and then you will have your answer ready. Okay, so yeah, that's my advice.
Great. Now, Rachel asks, is the female founder factor limited to fields of technology? And the answer is no. The female founder factor applies to every single startup led by a female founder that is in our program. So whatever industry or technology you use, if you have a female founder, you will receive all those benefits. Here, Valentina has a question. Do I need to have at least 1 year of commercial activities? I'm developing my platform, but I haven't started selling it because it is in process. I don't know who of you wants to take this. You both can. Go ahead, Danny or Seba.
Yeah, so in the build program, the requirement is you can't have more than 1 year commercial activities, and we mean by that, if you are a legal entity, by the time you have initiated the commercial activity in front of Servicio de Impuestos Internos, and if you are not incorporated, and if you haven't, for instance, started commercial activities in front of Impuestos Internos, you have to demonstrate that you don't have more than 1 year of commercial activities, okay? It's different if you apply to Ignite. For example, in Ignite is no more than 3 years of commercial activities based on the same requirements. And an important aspect is you can apply to both or the whole offer of Startup Chile at the same time. So it is normal to see applications to build and Ignite at the same time. But if you are insecure about the requirements, you can send an email to hello@startupchile.org and we can reply to you in a more specific way.
Yes, exactly. And we have that email on the chat so you can copy and keep it easily. So now I have another question for you, which is one we get a lot, which is how do I know which program should I apply to? And I will add, this one is not here, but I will add it. Can I apply to more than one?
Yes, you can apply it to more than one. It is common, as I mentioned before, to see application to both build and ignite programs, because sometime you could be a really good build, you know, because you have started your getting revenue, or you have validated your concept with real clients, you know, you have those sort of evidences. But maybe if you apply only to the Ignite program, you are, you know, taking the risk to be out of Ignite, because the competitiveness of that program is really high, you know? So basically, if you have something, you know, and we're going to say something for us is, we have run some experiments, even with a spreadsheet, you know, not the actual product, even with a Notion page or a landing page. If you have some evidence of that you are going to get some traction in the midterm, you could be applying to both build and ignite. If you just have an initial perspective of the problem you want to solve, but you obviously have a lot of uncertainty and you haven't been close to your clients, it is better to apply to the build one, because in that program, we're going to teach you how to validate the problem, how to experiment with clients, and the mentors are going to push you towards that too. That could be my answer, Cam.
Perfect. Thank you, Seba. Danny, I have another question from Pablo, which is, what does it mean that the beneficiary has to also finance a percentage of the total fund? If you can explain that
Okay.
a little bit more.
Yes, actually, we can use as a support our presentation. Seba, if you please go back to the amounts that we will give you and you have to present. First of all, remind, this is a public fund. So you'll have to present these expenses and all of that you have, for example, all of the expenses that you have made throughout the program, you will have to present those to Corfo. Okay, you will have to present those. You will have to present all of the bank statements, the invoices, and all of that. Okay, so be very mindful of that. So, what do we mean by the percentages that you will have to present? Is actually you will have to present to Corfo the 15 million, for example, if you're a build, you will have to present that, and then you will have to present on top of that 1.5 million of Chilean pesos. Okay, so let's go to the growth program. We will give you the 75 million Chilean pesos, but to Corfo, you will have to present 150. Okay, so that's how we do it. Mind you that these expenses for the beneficiary will have to be new expenses. For example, things that you haven't been doing right now in your startup, and you will have to start making new expenses. And yeah, that's actually it. You will have to present more money that you will be given. That's kind of the logic. You will be given the amount of Corfo, but you will have to present more money, okay? An important matter is that you will have to present this money as you applied, okay? If you applied as a natural person, foreign natural person, you will have to present those expenses as you, natural person, foreign. You cannot present those expenses, for example, as a foreign company, okay? So that's kind of it. I know it sounds a lot, and I know you may be having lots of questions about this, but don't worry about it yet. Worry about it when you already won the Startup Tutor program, because in that time you will get to know how to present those, how to present your salary, how to present the invoices, and all of that. Mind you that you can apply as a foreign natural person, and you can establish a company here in Chile, but a Chilean company, okay? You cannot present any kind of expenses as a foreign company. That's kind of it, okay?
Okay.
Yeah, that doesn't mean you have to have the cash at the very beginning of the program. We're going to ask for that, you know, it's not show me your money. So you have to demonstrate that you have the enough resources to cover the entire program in terms of the funding and the contribute you need to put in front, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Oops. I don't know if I am alone now.
Am I back? Can you hear me?
Yes. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Last question. It was to add some drama to it. Are there any limitations for the number of people who are in the startup that is applying?
Yes, you can apply for the build program with two co-founders or founders of the startup, and for the Ignite and Growth, you can go up to 3. Okay, read the terms and conditions because it's all in there. But mind you, if you apply as with a co-founder, for them to have a salary, they will have to go through the visa process, the Chilean identification, and all of that. Okay, so be very mindful of that.
Great, thank you. Now I'm just going to add the last one now, yes, because there are a lot of questions about flight tickets. Like, is this like supported in the fund, or is it something that is not considered? What can you tell us about that for foreign entrepreneurs?
First of all, you will be given a tracking duo, which is executives that are VSDEV, and a tracking executive that will help you kind of present the expenses to Corfo, okay, for them to be presented in the correct way and approved by Corfo. Okay, the money, the tickets, the voucher, the flight tickets, the visa process, and all of that are kind of, we know that we have foreign entrepreneurs, so we actually can totally approve the expenses regarding this amount for your flight tickets, okay? But those flight tickets, first of all, must be issued, for example, to you, not to a foreign company. Be very mindful of that, because if you buy the flight tickets with the company name, that cannot be presented to Corfo, okay? So if you're having any kind of, as I said before, you're having any kind of questions about how to present this kind of expenses to Corfo, wait, you will get to know that. But yes, the flight tickets, the visa process, and all of that can be presented to Corfo as a new expense. Okay, so yeah, that's kind of it. And actually, kind of the kind of flights that can be, for example, it can be a basic flight. We know that sometimes you get here for a whole year and you can present, for example, the baggages and all of that. But those kind of things are actually in the terms and conditions. Okay, you can see in there, and if you can totally present those as a new expense. Okay, yes.
Perfect. So now everyone,
Camille,
thank you.
Yes.
Yes,
Sorry, I want to add something really important.
of
Sorry.
course.
2 minutes. So guys, it is important to select a good team leader for the application. Please read the terms and conditions to understand the requirements, but the basic one are two. First of all, the team leader must have 10% of the equity of your company if you are applying as a legal entity. And the second one is the team leader has to participate in the mandatory activities of the program. And you must be here in Chile during the program execution. So if you are really busy, if you are going to have a lot of work to do outside the country, please select another person as a team leader. It is not necessary to select the CEO or CTO, you know, so here we have had a lot of product development managers or other person that manages the business, but the requirement that must have at least 10% of the shares of the company. I'm saying this because we have been having a lot of problems with some team leaders that are not already here in Chile, or because they have a super busy agenda. So the objective of this public policy is to obviously create a local impact. And to do that, you have to be here in the country for the 4 months of build, 6 months of the execution of Ignite, and 1 year if you are applying to the growth program. So that's the minimum thing we are asking to you guys. You know, we're not taking any piece of your company. We are going to support you to start your business here, and we need you here. That's the main message I was going to deliver.
That's great. Take Seba's advice, you guys. And everyone here, all we've told you today are just things that are going to make your application process easier, less stressful. If you still have any remaining questions, please make sure you write to us at hello@startupchile.org. You can also read the terms and conditions on our website, which is startupchile.org. And make sure to join our second webinar, which is going to be the last week of November. And then we'll be answering questions specifically about the application form and any questions you have regarding that. But yeah, make sure you are staying tuned to everything that we are sharing during this application process. Don't be afraid to reach and contact us if you have any specific questions about your case specifically. And yeah, we can wait to see you soon, hopefully. Thank you, Seba. Thank you, Dan, for everything.
You're welcome. My
And we'll
pleasure.
see you in a next webinar, maybe. Who knows? Thank you so much, everybody.
Okay. Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank
Have a good
you.
day.
Bye. Bye-bye.